Hello, welcome to the full-time hangout, Arsenal versus Manchester City. Great 3-0 win. I'm joined here with Rayhan. He's holding up his FA Cup winner's flag. Only 85 days ago when we won the FA Cup, and 85 days we got another trophy, Rayhan. I'm absolutely buzzing. Great win. And it's not so much that we won it, it's the way in which we won it. Absolutely dismantling Manchester City. Goals from Santi Cazorla, Aaron Ramsey, and Olivier Giroud. The pick of the bunch, Rayhan, Olivier Giroud, and I know you were a little skeptical of him coming on at halftime for Yaya Sanogo, but you know what? He really showed you up with that goal.
He did, yeah. He made me eat my words there. I mean, I wasn't expecting too much from Giroud because it was literally a week ago when I saw him in the Emirates Cup, and I wasn't impressed. But,
Yeah.
that was a quality strike. I think Giroud has forgotten who he is. You know, that's so unlike him, but I'm really thrilled that he's done that. And it can only mean great things for the Arsenal, so long may it continue.
Yeah. The one thing I was surprised was that Giroud was voted man of the match. I probably disagree with that. I think it could either... The four players I thought were worthy of man of the match were our two fullbacks, Kieran Gibbs and Matthew Debuchy. Then also our two center mids with Jack Wilshere and Aaron Ramsey. But if I had to give it to someone, I'd probably say Gibbs, just for the level of consistency he played with today. That's not taking anything away with Debuchy. Question marks with that signing would have been, can he defend? Because we all know he's great going forward. And what I saw from Debuchy today absolutely says that he's a top-notch defender. He's looked like he's been in the squad 4 years. And when Wenger took off Koscielny at halftime, that was a bit of a curveball that no one expected. Monreal at center back. We really needed strong play from our fullbacks to support maybe a weaker, well, not weaker, but unusual center back pairing, because I doubt we'll see Chambers and Monreal playing together for a long time. Maybe the Emirates Cup next year, but who knows. What did you think of the back four?
Yeah, I thought they were good. There were periods in which we did look a bit vulnerable, and we had to force a few saves and some heroic acts from Szczesny.
Yeah.
But on the whole, throughout the 90 minutes, yeah, I was impressed with the back four and as well with the rotational back. Because obviously, Koscielny came off to my surprise. But they've been quite resolute today. Evidently, with the clean sheet. I mean, it's not every day you get you beat Man City by 3-0. I think that's an astounding achievement. And I know that in the papers tomorrow they're all going to be slagging us off, saying, okay, that was a Man City team, or that was an unfit Man City team. You know what? Man City is Man City, and Arsenal is Arsenal. These are two heavyweights of the Premier League, battling it out. And Community Shield should be respected. You know, it's the winners of the Premier League, the winners of the FA Cup. So theoretically, it's a massive match. So we should be very proud of ourselves for having won it.
And people will talk about a weakened Manchester City squad, but we're missing 3 World Cup winners, Theo Walcott. We're missing key players of our own. And we're like, as Arsenal fans, sometimes in the press you can't win. But you know what? As I said before, I don't think it's that we won. I think it's how we won. We absolutely bossed it in the first half, possession-wise. And I was impressed in the second half when, Man City kind of came at us when it was 2-0. Maybe Arsenal squads in the past would have maybe let in a goal, let them back into the game. But you know what? We were a little shaky, but we were still resolute, as you said, and we kept a clean sheet. And I think that was a very important goal that we fulfilled today. The substitutes that came on, pretty well done from everyone. I was a little disappointed Joel Campbell. He didn't really do much. Same with Oxlade-Chamberlain, but you know what? They weren't really in any positions to succeed. We just needed to shut the game down, and that's exactly what we did. Matthew Flemini came on. He was great. But overall, it's just a very professional performance, and just the progression of each player on the team has been impressive. You can start with Ramsey, Wilshere. Wilshere, I thought, had a very professional performance. He did everything that was asked of him. But, man, something I just don't understand, how many fouls does he have to take? I was following someone on Twitter. He had a Wilshere foul count. I think 7 fouls on him today, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, but I think that just attests to his size and stature. He's quite I don't want to say vulnerable, but I think he's a foul magnet. That's just how he is, especially in the position, especially in midfield. What do you expect? But yeah, Wilshere surprised me today, especially with his maturity that he showed today, which I've not seen from him in quite some time, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm very, very pleased with that.
Going into that first match, what would your lineup be for that first match? I think I would keep the same back four. I'm sure. I don't. I want to say I want to keep the same lineup, but then again, I also do want to see Oxlade-Chamberlain in there. Maybe for Cazorla, but then again, Cazorla was fantastic today. He was pulling all the strings. And would you go Giroud or Sanogo for the first match? That's an interesting question.
I mean, that is the question of the day. I mean, in the papers everywhere, everyone's trying to see, okay, is it Sanogo or Giroud? They're both, to be honest with you, quite inconsistent, but they do have the potential to be brilliant. Of course, we don't want them to risk our opening day, because we know what happened last season.
Yeah.
I don't know. Against a team like Crystal Palace, I think I'll go with Giroud. I wouldn't have said that before the match, to be honest. I would have said Sanogo hands down before today. But given today's performance, yeah, it could be Giroud. Maybe I'll introduce Sanogo in the second half, but I think I'll start with Giroud.
Yeah. But that being said, Giroud with a fantastic goal, and I thought Sanogo was very impressive in the first half. I think you see the improvement he's made from last season. Even the way he's just winning 50-50 balls in the air, giving us possession 60 yards up the pitch instead of us having to work, say, 5 or 6 passes. We can just lump it up and Sanogo can win the ball. But then again, Giroud's hold-up play is fantastic. I'd probably go with Giroud for the first match. Just professional, you know what you're going to get. And, yeah, he did score 22 goals last year. I still think it's a hot topic within fans, and some people either love him or hate him, and that's a question I'm going to ask for everyone that I want everyone to comment in the video below. Who would you start with up front going into our first match? Otherwise, we all stayed healthy today. That's another bonus.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
one thing I want to reiterate one more time is we still have World Cup winners coming back. We still have the star man of Germany, Mesut Ozil, coming back. And the experience of Mertesacker, I think it looks to be a great season going forward. What are your expectations?
Well, I expect the league I wouldn't expect anything less, to be honest. But I think I have to keep my feet on the ground and really blur that line between expectation and reality and hope, for that matter. But I think the league is realistic. It's not going to be easy, obviously. Any fool would think that winning the Premier League is easy. But I just think if we deliver top confident performances as we did today, like today, I would say we overcame that psychological barrier that these top teams have had on us in the past, especially this last season. So I think if we can keep that and use that going into next season, I think we have a good chance. We can be up there with the best.
It was nice sticking it to a couple ex-Arsenal players today. Nasri looked like he was having a terrible time out there, which just his sadness brings me happiness. There you go. And even Clichy, Bakary saying in the stands. I don't know. It was just nice to get over some ex-players. But what do you think's the difference between the team this year and the team last year? Because we say it every year. We want to win the title. That's our hopes. But what do you think is the difference separating ourselves from last year to this year?
Honestly, I think the key difference is pace. If you notice, in the modern game, the game is so much more about pace and speed and finesse, and less so about physicality. Of course, physicality remains such a tremendous element in the game today, but I think it's more speed-based. So I think we have pace throughout our team now, from the defense to our forward line. I think, with the exception of Giroud. No, I think that's a key factor for this season. And we've got even more pace to come with the likes of Theo Walcott coming back. So it should be happy days for the Arsenal.
What did you think of Callum Chambers today? Obviously, coming in for £16 million. it's kind of mind-blowing that that's Arsene Wenger's third most expensive signing of all time. Just like Callum Chambers is the third most expensive player that Arsene Wenger has bought in his tenure at Arsenal, which is pretty ridiculous considering the modern game and the amount of cash being thrown around. And honestly, I think it looks like quite the bargain. We saw Luke Shaw go for $30 million to Manchester United, and people in Southampton say Chambers is just as good a prospect as him. And realistically, if Arsene Wenger doesn't make the signing this year, maybe next year he's paying $20-25 million for that. And he looked very impressive. As you said in the halftime show, he's very composed, and he did get burned once or twice, but you know what? He recovered well, and he made some nice blocks throughout the match.
Without a doubt. I think Callum Chambers shows great potential for the future. I think it's a very, very clever signing by Arsene Wenger and his scouts, because, you know, it's not immediately persuasive, a player like Callum Chambers to sign. But they spotted him, and thank God they have, because as you said, his value would skyrocket, especially because he's an English player. You see that a lot in the Premier League. English players, the price for them is just completely inflated. So in that respect, I'm very happy that we've acquired Callum Chambers. I think one point you made was the fact that he recovered. Yes, it's true he did make a few mistakes, but his recovery is fantastic. And I think that for the whole team as well. I noticed even Sanchez would come back. Their tracking back was really, really good today. And that was key in terms of getting a clean sheet against a team like Man City. So I hope that continues.
And do you expect, obviously with Thomas Vermaelen leaving, another center back to come in? And one point that I saw from somebody was, you know, we get a third center back for backup, and then we maybe try Chambers out at the defensive mid role. I'm not too. I'd have to see him play a game there. You don't know the movement, his movement style, if it would fit the team well. But I think that's a good shout as well, because we definitely do need another defender with Vermaelen gone regardless. Usually you need 4 center backs going into a season, and last year we lost 2. We lost Vermaelen, and Sanya could always play center back for us. So having Chambers there as a third one, maybe a fourth one coming in would be great. Obviously the defensive mid role, would love to see another signing there, although I'm not taking anything away from Arteta. I think he's a fantastic professional. He dictates the flow of the game, but we just need some more athleticism in that role. Don't get me wrong, he'd be a fantastic squad player, but he just isn't up to the level he played with, say, 2011, 2012. Who do you want to see as target in the transfer market going forward?
Yeah, that's another very, very difficult question. I agree with you with regards to Arteta. He was a fantastic professional, but he has slowed down in recent years. It's a difficult position to fill, defensive midfield. Of course, as you said, there's talk about Callum Chambers, but I think it's still too young. He's still too young. I mean, there's been talk about Khedira, but Arsene Wenger has denied that, and as well with Carvalho from Portugal. So, to be honest with you, I don't know very much about William Carvalho, but from what I do know is that he's very, very robust. He's very, very aggressive, and he provides that physical presence that would really scare the oncoming attackers on the field. But apart from him, you know, the market is a bit scarce, to be honest with you. I think Man City have already agreed to deal with Mangala from who played on the France national team. He's quite an interesting player. I would have liked to see him, to be honest.
He's more of a center back now, isn't he, though?
That's true, but I kind of envisioned him as being a Yaya Toure type player, just in terms of his sheer physicality and strength.
Yeah.
But, you know, who we sign remains to be seen. But I think I trust Arsene Wenger. I trust the new Arsene Wenger, I should say, because he's a changed man.
Personally, I'm not going to sit here and give you specific names, but I'm going to give you guys kind of a mold of a defensive midfielder that I'd like to see. Somebody who's very versatile. If we could sign a defensive midfielder that could also maybe fill in at center back sometimes, like a name that some players that can do that would be Xavi Martinez, Javier Mascherano, who's great at the World Cup. somebody that maybe could give us protection for that fourth center back role, fill in adequately. But the way we play, we don't just want a player that all he does is defend, and he can't really facilitate attacks going forward. And that's what I think is so underrated about Arteta, is the way he orchestrates the play, dictates the flow of the game. And I think that's essential for someone in our squad. And you just see with Wenger buying Arteta and putting him in that role long term that he wants someone to fulfill that role. Do I know if William Carvalho can do that? I'm not sure. I'm not going to act like I know that if he could or if he couldn't. But just those characteristics is something I'd like to see. Going forward, do we need another striker? It's hard to say. It'd be nice, but the amount of world-class strikers out there is pretty scarce. It looks like Falcao's going to Real Madrid. Benzema just signed a new contract there. And I'm not sold on Cavani. I don't know how he'd do in the Premier League, but going forward, do you want to see another striker?
I think a lot of people will disagree with this, but I think we can wait out one more season, or at least to the January transfer window. I don't think we need one quite yet. I mean, we've just got Alexis Sanchez. I think we do need to just focus our priorities on the centre back and defensive midfield, and then assess our situation at the halfway point of the season, which is January. So, yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, I've looked at the market. No one's really available unless Austin's got his eyes on someone that we don't.
Which is often the case.
Which is often the case, yeah. He likes to pull a rabbit out of the hat every now and then. So we'll see. We'll just put faith in the manager. I mean, I wouldn't have said that a few years ago or even last season, but I think this year we can expect the best from him. So we'll see.
Also, Theo Walcott can play center forward too if we need. He should be back around the end of August, apparently. Probably not the end of August, probably going into September. But that's also going to be a big boost coming back. So we do have, you could say, 4 striking options within Giroud, Sanogo, Alexis Sanchez, and Theo Walcott. I think, as you said, there's no point overspending on a mediocre buy this year when you can wait and maybe get a world-class signing next year or the year after that. And I think we kind of saw that in January. We could have overspent for Draxler, which would have been a pretty decent signing, but we held out. We waited till the summer and we got Alexis Sanchez, which is a fantastic signing in that. But the question I want to ask to all you guys in the comments below is, who would you start going forward? Who would you start on for the first game of the season up front? Would you go with Giroud? Would you go with Sanogo? Or would you even go with Alexis Sanchez center forward and then maybe make room for another winger on the side? Give us your opinion. Sunrise day, just a great day out for the Gunners at Wembley. 3-0 victory, great goals, pick of the bunch, obviously Giroud. Just a great day to be an Arsenal fan today. You can't really ask more from the team, Ryan. Any last words?
Well, you pretty much hit the nail on the head, Jack. It's been a great day, a pleasure as well to join you here on Arsenal Fan TV, and I think I'm just going to enjoy the celebrations that are imminent now that we were lifting a second trophy in 85 days or however many days it was. But it's good times for the Arsenal, and I'm very happy about that.
It's great because I saw a stat just now. It was something like the gap between the FA Cup from 2005 and 2014 was 3,200 days, and then the gap between this now trophy drought, you could say, would be 85 days, which is fantastic. Which more like just promising signs ahead, and that's the thing with this Arsenal team. There's so much hope. We're definitely on the up. We're not on the down, that's for sure. And just who knows where it can take us this season. It looks with a lot of hope. Leave your comments below. It was a pleasure today. Up the Arsenal.
All right, cheers, man.